Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The GOAT, where we
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
baby.
everything GOAT related. What's going on, B?
Doing good, Jeff, man. Not too bad at all. Actually, outside, just got done with a workout, helping these young goats out here get better and better each and every day. Loving it.
Yeah, I love it. Where you at?
I am off by the Jewish Community Center. There's a little small court not too far from there. Good work out here, especially during that COVID years. This has put a lot of work in out here. Huh?
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah, that's great. You got to do what you got to do. You
Yeah,
look like you're like in a barn or something, man.
I know. I thought the background was pretty nice, actually.
I
It's
love
suited
it.
my skin tone. You know what
Yeah, fits right in there with your skin tone.
I'm saying?
So I just want to talk a little bit about last week. We
Yeah.
had a Drew Madigan,
Yes, D-Mad, the new
D-Man.
white rapper on the scene.
I've been checking him out ever since then, and wow, that dude is good.
I actually literally asked my iTunes to play D-Mad, and it played just a random assortment, and everything was vibing. Like the people were listening to it with me were like, like, man, who is this? So it's one of my young boys. He's out here doing his thing.
Right.
I'm very proud of him for that. So happy that
Yeah.
he's getting out of his shell. He's seeing this accolades and the success of all the hard work he's put in his entire life, not just in the music, but like he said in his story about basketball and the ups and downs there. But the fact
Right.
that again, being a GOAT, he showed grit to get through those, to learn from those lessons, to put the hours in that if I couldn't be practicing, maybe I'll put some more hours into my music and again to see that end result, it's beautiful.
And that is so true. Sports. It's like, yeah, a lot of us play sports. There's lots of people that play sports, but the
Hmm.
gifts that it gives to us, like the higher you go in sports, it kind of elevates you in the business world or the
Yeah.
the outside world. And that kind of reminds me of our guest tonight, how he
Yeah.
created his game and made his dream what he loved to do, his life and everything about his life.
And
I
using that to make others' dreams come true. True. It's beautiful. Appreciate
exactly.
what he does.
Yeah, yeah, me too. So
Yeah.
let's introduce our good friend tonight, Tony Winningham. Is
Yeah.
that how you say
Let's
it?
go, Tony. Welcome to the show, my
Tony
man.
Doing? How's everybody doing? But yeah, it's Winningham, Tony Winningham.
Winningham, I did it right.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. Key on the winning, right?
Yes, sir. Always. How you
I
guys doing today?
Doing great. It's a blessed day, my man.
Good. Good.
You bet. We are so glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Are you back in Kansas City now? Is that
Yes, I am. I was down in ATL. Went to a show out there and did a little bit of basketball stuff, And but yeah, I just got back yesterday. So
Okay. What show you go to?
my little brother, he actually won a top. It's called Ugly Money,
Okay.
but he won the show, the top three, and then so they were looking to sign an artist, and then he got second place. So the first
Oh,
place got
wow.
5,000, and then so yeah,
That's awesome.
wow?
Congratulations on even getting second. That's tough.
yeah, definitely.
That
Super
is
excited.
great.
What's his name?
His name is Moody.
Oh, I
Moody.
know Moody.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think I
yeah,
know Moody. He's from here, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I know Moody. He's been doing music for a long time.
Oh yeah. He's
Yeah.
since he's 22 now, so we're like 5 years now,
Okay.
6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Young still, though. Man,
Oh
that's
yeah, definitely.
So Tony, we're so excited tonight to hear your journey.
yes.
Your love for basketball. I read your stuff, I watched you play, and everything that you talk about on your social media and out there everywhere is your love of the game.
Definitely.
Where did that start from? Where did you begin?
Well, my growing up, my dad used to always tell us because they didn't have a traditional job and everything. They was trying to hustle and stuff like that just to get provide for us. But he said, if you chase your dreams, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
So, and growing up, I grew up in Northeast Kansas City, so we didn't have access to gyms. So I just start playing basketball, and then every day I'm just playing outside, playing with the older guys, trying to get better. Just trying to get picked up. The young guys don't get picked up.
Right.
So,
How old were you when you started?
shoot, 4 years old, just
I love it.
yep, and then from there, just playing every day.
That is great. So tell me the ride. You started as a little kid
Mhm.
going into grade school, and were
Hmm.
you good? Was it challenging?
Yeah, so I actually naturally have always been decently athletic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so growing up, I was decent. And then, moving up, past high school and everything like that, just, I started to really like understand what I had to do to be able to be better at the game. And it was definitely challenging. I think the most challenging time, because I didn't have the traditional coaches or the
Right.
traditional route as everybody else, because I went to a lower school, a lower high school, you take a different route. And I really had to work my butt off to really get to the next level.
Tell me
Yeah.
about like you had to take the different route than like who?
Okay, so traditionally, you usually what guys, they go to high school, they perform, and then they get a scholarship to play somewhere. No matter where it is, D1 through
Right.
NAIA.
Right.
Usually, that's the route you normally will want to take. For me, I had really good football coaches. My basketball coaches, they weren't bad, but they didn't like necessarily push you to the college level. And for me, I got a football scholarship, but not a basketball scholarship. And I averaged 17 points a game. And I
Wow.
didn't have one
Wow.
scholarship, not NAIA, not D2, not anywhere. So
Really?
I emailed 150 college coaches at least. And uh, I decided to take the football scholarship, but I made my football coach at Lincoln University sign a contract that said I can try out for the basketball team.
All right.
He signed it. He agreed to sign it. I tried out and I made the team. And
Okay.
I played two sports.
I love
Sadly, my dad had passed away right before I went to college, so my mind wasn't necessarily in the correct place.
uh,
But I had to get to on that basketball team by myself.
so wait, tell me, how old were you when your dad passed away?
I was 18 years old. I just had
Wow.
graduated high school.
Oh wow.
Wow.
What was that like for you?
It was naturally, I've always kind of had a strong mindset, so
Hmm.
it kind of put me in a I had to be there for my family kind of place.
Right.
So, most people, they go into their shell, but me, I felt like if I went into my shell, I didn't know if my family was going to be able to make it out.
Right.
Wow.
So we no longer had our rock, so I felt like I needed to be that.
And you're 18 years old, and
Eight,
you're
yep, 18 years old. So naturally, I was like, I wanted to be there for my family, but I was going off to college. So it was a weird place for me. But then once I actually dropped out, I wouldn't take it back, just because I was there for each one of my siblings and my mother, and
right.
I helped them get through the hardest times of our lives.
Oh boy, man. How?
Wow.
So you were a freshman and then had
Freshman.
to leave.
Yep.
Oh man.
I played maybe 5 basketball games.
Wow. So what was
Wow.
that like? What was that like for you
Yes.
at the time? You're an 18-year-old.
So it was honestly crazy, because when I got to college, my coach had signed the contract, but I was unaware if I was going to make the basketball team. So I was there basically playing a sport that I didn't have my heart.
Right.
So, and then, but I was going to football practice, and then every day after football practice, I was at the YMCA training for
Yes.
basketball,
Right.
because that's where my heart was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then, when my dad passed away, I'm like, all right, I got to do what he would want me to do. I got to try to, live up to that. So I was working my butt off, and then I was already considering dropping out. And then the basketball coach called me and said, you made the team. So it was like a re-spark in me, like, okay,
Right.
like
Yeah.
maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. And then I played some games and everything. And then you kind of get down on yourself. You talking to your family. You go back for Thanksgiving, because for basketball, you don't get a Thanksgiving break.
Right.
So I drove out, and I
You
drove back
sure
the
don't.
same day.
Right.
So, and it was a 3-hour drive, and then it was the hardest decision to make, to walk away from the college and basketball, because once you walk away, you really don't know what happens after this.
Yeah.
You're choosing the path of the unknown.
Mm.
Right.
We know what happens if you stick it out. You can get a degree, hopefully
Right.
you can go overseas to the NBA or whatever the case may be. But I chose the path that was scary. It was the
Right.
most scary.
Right. And so you go home, and what do you do?
I was there for my family, and I was in the gym for the first year and a half. I was probably in a gym at least 3 times a week. And then probably for about a year, I hit a real down. You know, you hit that down spiral because life is hitting
Right.
you. You got bills. You got, it's real
Yeah.
life now. And
Right.
then
Yes.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then out of nowhere, I was like, I'm not giving up. It's not in me to give up because I know I only get one life to live. So I
Yep.
gotta do it the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
So for about the year and a half after that downhill, I was in the gym every single day. And then I got a call and to come on a tour in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And what was
How'd
that?
that turn out? Yeah, how'd that turn
So
out?
my
You
first it was,
played college really.
yeah, I
at
only
all.
played 5 games.
So you got
Yeah,
nothing
wow.
to show. You got nothing to say. I'm a good athlete.
Yeah, I have no resume at all.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what you do in high school after high school
Right.
is over. It's like, what can you do at the next level? So me, I
Right.
have no resume. I
Nothing.
have like nothing to show for it, but hooping in Kansas City. But Kansas City is, it's a smaller city.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yes.
what can you do? How far can you really take it? So my first tour in the Philippines, I did not play good. I wanted to, it was like, I played decent. I averaged about 14, 15 points a game. And
Why do you feel you didn't play good?
It's because it was, to me, this is an NBA clocked game, and we have an 8-man roster. So I'm scoring 14
Wow.
points in an NBA long game when I'm playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
So, but I played well enough and I made the right connections that I got invited back for free. I didn't have to pay a single dollar. But then I knew what the competition was going to be like. I knew, okay, I thought I prepared for that first tour. I was like, I worked my butt off to get here, but I didn't work my butt off to be dominant here.
Yes.
And that was the major difference.
Right.
So I once that first tour, I figured out how to dominate in that. And I went back and averaged 30 points a game.
Whoa. Whoa. Wait, now you
Whoa. Yes, I was gonna say, what was the key to that? Because
we need
that's
to
a
know
goal.
this.
So the key was sacrifice. With anything, within a relationship, in a marriage, in a friendship, there's gonna be sacrifice. So you have to decide what is worth it for you, what you truly want. And finding out what you truly want is a hard decision sometimes.
Yeah.
But once you figure it out, what are you going to do to go get what you truly want? Right. So every single day, I'm a night guy. Well, back then I was a night guy. These days, I'm more of a morning guy. But back then, I would show up to the gym at 9 o'clock. I would run a mile. I would backpedal on a 15 incline a lap. I would side shuffle a lap, side shuffle the other way a lap. Do my lift. Right when I'm done with that, that's probably 11 o'clock. And then I would train basketball for 3 hours. Yeah. And I would put up 500 to 750 shots a day. And this is every day. I did not going to that second tour, I did not take a day off. I was in the gym every single day. I didn't go out and party. It was me and my girlfriend, and we was just tunnel vision.
Yes. So you know what it takes to be great.
Definitely.
That's what it takes, is that kind of mentality, that kind of willingness, because really, and it's unfortunate, to be great, you got to give up a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, you do. 100%.
Social life, all bunch of different things. And it's sad, but it's true, because it's your everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Takes a huge level of commitment to be great.
100%.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's not the traditional road.
Yeah.
Now,
struggle.
Go ahead, Jeff. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What was your biggest struggle? Like, at what point did you quit or want to quit?
So that that down year was probably one of the hardest years for me because after 2 years of not playing anywhere, because it was a total from 19 basically till 23, I didn't play anywhere. So
Wow.
that 21 to 22 place, I tried to go back to college. And I emailed coaches again, just like I did in high school.
Yeah.
And they scheduled me visits, and then I had to write an essay, but I didn't redshirt in football or basketball, so my time kept ticking.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was like if they let me back into college, I had a year, and a lot of coaches wasn't willing to necessarily do that.
Right.
Especially because I wasn't going to go to a D1, I was going to go to an NAIA. So It was like they want that 4-year guy, they want that 3-year guy, and it was easier to take a guy right out of high school instead of taking a chance on a guy that already dropped out or no matter what he'd been through. So right after they didn't let me back into college, it was probably one of the hardest moments for me.
Boy, there's a lot of down chips. There's a lot of things that are not going your way at that point.
Definitely.
What turned it around?
So, dang, that's a good question. So, right when I decided that I'm not gonna quit, I met two people. Their names are Jackie and Alfonso, and they ran the business that I now own called Ball Up Sporting. And I was in the gym, starting to get back in the gym every day, and they ran a men's league, but they was just starting. They had cameras. They did the whole 9 yards, and I loved it. I loved the whole idea of it. So me being a basketball guy, and I know basketball players, I want to surround myself with basketball, surround myself with people that can, that's in my genre. Right. So I told them, if you need anything, I was like, if you need me to run the scoreboard, I'll do it. So I did it. I ran the scoreboard, and then they started inviting me to meetings. And then I'm playing in the league as well, and I'm topping the league because they kept stats. They did an MVP, everything. And I'm in the run to be an MVP in the league and everything. Just a little men's league, but it was different. And then from the highlights that I had from the men's league and learning that I'm more than just basketball, I'm learning business stuff now. And then they see my videos. I won the dunk competition in the men's league, and somebody see my video, and it was my break. It was like, all right, I'm moving in the right direction.
That makes me smile.
I love that.
So what? It wasn't aha overnight. It was I need to change. What made you? You said after I decided to change. What was because a lot of us start on that downward path, and usually there's if we change, it's I'm either hitting bottom, or an aha happened to me that's like, wow, I'm fatter than my dad. That happened to me. Wow, I'm bigger than my dad. I need to lose weight.
Hey, you look good now.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I see some of those old pictures, Jeff. It shocks me every time I think about that. It really does.
But it is one of those aha, and it's like you decided in your mind, I'm going to change, and you turn things around.
Definitely. I think the biggest thing was just, it's like, who do you want to be in this world? It's like, at the end of the day, I had to come to realize, like, I'm closer to getting to my dream than I am to going back in the other direction.
Yeah.
And it was like, do I stop right now, or do I just keep pushing? Because you never know how close you are to them diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna just keep pushing, and I'm gonna be okay with the outcome. If I don't make it and I gave it everything I had, I can live with that. I can accept that. But if I don't make it because I didn't work hard enough, that's all on me. I can't blame anybody. I can't say, I didn't have a fair shot.
Right.
I don't care about you give me a chance, and I'm gonna take it. All you got to do is show me the right door, and I'm gonna go get it. Even if I got 1,000 keys, I'm gonna find the right key.
So that brings me to Tony. 5 years down the road, what's Tony now?
So what was the question again?
5 years down the road, what are you doing? What does Tony's life look like?
So right now, what I do is I still play basketball in the Philippines. Me and my coach actually started our own travel team. So we partnered up because he was doing tours with a guy, and then he decided to partner up with me. We started a travel team called the Serious Star Filipinas, and I take guys out there that maybe had a similar situation as me, and I've taken 30 guys out so far. Jalen Brown is one of them. He played in the TBL. He was just talking to me today, sent me his highlights, and he got signed there. He looks good. Played for the Midtown Prestige, and
Okay.
so I take guys overseas, run tours. I got my jersey business because I love NBA jerseys.
Oh,
I run Ball Up Sporting, which is I run events, basketball events, and anything with the basketball. I'm trying to, I try to surround myself with it. So
I love to hear that. So this is that. Well, go ahead, D.
Yeah, the biggest thing I want to ask you, Tony, is like, what is your advice that you give to these? Again, there are different tiers of the knowledge I want you to drop on them.
right.
The young athlete getting ready to transition from being, a young man before 18, becoming a man, and then of course that athlete that is, yes, I made my dream of college, but now the dream is professional. So let's start with the youth first. What kind of advice would you give, like your younger self, if you would?
Right. So for the youth, especially in today's era, they're caught up with how everybody perceives them. They want to go the D1 route and they want to do all these big things, and then you get to a D1 college and maybe you're not playing as much as you want to. And it's like, don't get caught up in what everybody else thinks about you playing D1. Go to a situation that's best for you, but also understand that no matter what situation you go to, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a Zion Williamson. You go there and then you're just the best player in the world. No, you got to work. A lot of us, the normal people or the guys that go to D2s or whatever, you got to go work. So yeah, maybe a coach doesn't like you at first, but don't quit because the coach don't like you. Go work your butt off.
Yep.
Don't leave and give up because it's hard, because there's going to be adversity anywhere you go. And I think the biggest thing I would give the youth is there's going to be adversity no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
So fight through it. Don't give up so easy. And I think a lot of these kids, that's why you see a lot of kids transferring schools and doing all this stuff. And it's like, because that adversity gets too much.
They want that perfect road too.
Exactly. And there's no
everybody's
perfect
telling
road.
me. Yeah.
There's no perfect road.
You're exactly right on there, and don't quit when it gets hard. But the advice that you started with there is by far one of the biggest issues that we face as mental coaches. Is who are you doing this for?
It's for absolutely your motivation.
What everybody else thinks, or your parents, or your coaches, or everybody. It's like, what's best for you?
Yep. This is your.
Everybody D1. I want to go D1. Well, you go to D1 and not everybody that goes to D1 starts and they don't get to play, and it's all this cutthroat, and it's very intense.
Definitely.
And it's like that might not be for everybody. So the advice that you're given is right on. This is your journey. Everybody's got one shot.
Yep.
So it's like, how are you going to take your shot? Are you going to do it because what everybody else thinks? Or are you going to do what's best for me? What do I want?
Exactly. So the next advice for guys that's going from college to the pro level, which is that is a journey in itself, because I think one of the biggest difficulties is getting across that water. Trying to get to an overseas team, especially when you don't have a big NCAA team backing you, it's rough, because those guys that got a big D1 backing them, they are getting the top tier spots. They're getting the top tier teams. They're going to the top leagues, which is understandable because they work their butt off to get D1.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing about from college going to pro for, the guys that are maybe lower tiers or anything like that, a lot of guys don't know they want to go overseas because they want to keep playing basketball. But when you get over there, it is a different world. It's just you over there.
Right.
It's nobody, it's no mommy, no girlfriend, no brother,
Right.
no sister. It's you. And when you go over there, most of the time they don't speak your language. So it is
Right.
difficult. And I
Right.
think a lot of the pro guys got to understand that. Not everybody is built for that, but that's okay.
Right.
So you got to understand that it's a whole different world. You got to go over there, be by yourself, work your butt off, and still go perform so you can get higher level jobs.
Dude,
So,
I had a guy that I'm working with over in Germany right now on one of those teams, and it was over COVID. And so he was not only in a he couldn't leave his house really. The only thing that he could do was go to the gym and back every day.
mm-hmm.
And it was like it was so miserable for him because he was alone, isolated in this little box of a room over there, trying to make a living, and that was so tough.
That's tough.
Yep. A funny story is that when back in March of, was it 2020 or was that 2019? COVID year was so fast, or slow and fast at the same time. But
right.
I was actually running my tour when COVID started, when the lockdown started. So I was actually stuck in the Philippines for about a month.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then the Philippines, they shut everything down. So no stores open. And then you could only get food from like 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then after that, you could only leave the house for food. That was it. And then after 5 p.m., everybody had to be in the house. And they were driving around tanks around the streets and everything. So I was like, I'm in another country. I'm going to just stay in here.
Wow. Wow.
That is intense.
And we complaining about what we got to do. That's
I haven't been shot at by a tank in a long time.
Right.
Well, so tell us about, let's bring us up to date right now. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you're doing. And are you planning on going on more tours?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So what I'm actually planning now is me and my coach will probably start our tours back up come January. The Philippines, they can't afford another lockdown because their economy is a third world country. Yeah. So, and then, us Americans, we're hard headed. So we're not, maybe a lot of us aren't getting vaccinated or we're not wearing our masks. So the Philippines, for what we do, they're not going to let Americans just start coming in as much like that. So now we just got to make sure we take our time and plan it out perfectly because every single one of our games in the Philippines is in front of at least 1,000 people. So we want that same energy because the more people, the more fans you can create and the more views you can get for, so you can get signed in another league.
Right.
So we have to do it correctly. I won't rush it. It's too important. So we will be running more tours coming in January. And then I'm running my events here now. And then eventually what I want to get to is I want to get to running combines in the United States. And then I want to start my own league in the Philippines.
Ooh.
So it's probably a 2-year plan, but hopefully I can take the correct steps to hopefully get that done so I can sign people to my teams and they can be in a great situation.
Yeah.
Love it. It's beautiful.
You're building the background to be able to do that, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, that is great, Tony. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Well, that leads us to the GOAT tip. And the GOAT tip is find a way to do what you love, and you're never going to have to work another day in your life. That said it. And that's so true because bottom line, and that's what I coach people to do, is re-fall in love with their job or their game.
Yes.
Because it loses its fun at some point. You start losing the pressure and all that. And it's like, and the only way that we get through that is if we're truly doing what we love. If we're doing what we hate every day and going and do that, we can't get through the tough times. They suck.
Definitely.
But when you're doing what you love, you can get through anything.
A lot. Yeah.
100%.
So find a way to do what you love and do it every day.
Definitely. That's wise words.
And that brings us to a little bit of housekeeping before we go. Next week, we have a guest, Gwen O'Brien, who is on the board of the directors for KC Suicide Awareness. And we work with a lot of athletes, and as we know, a lot of pressures on athletes, and athletes, young athletes, all ages of athletes, commit suicide.
Definitely.
Very true.
What we do is we help people to not be able to have a voice, to be able to talk. And so that's kind of our job, is to help with suicide awareness, with suicide situations, but it's more overall mental health and general well-being that we like to focus on.
That's amazing.
So we do want to bring her in next week and talk about that. And that's a lot for parents. Just what do you look for? What are the signs? Kids these days are struggling, and it's obvious. And it's like, what are the signs of suicide, and how do we get help, and how do we talk to our kids about that, and about young athletes, and not just young, but it's everybody. It's like people are struggling right now, and if you're challenged with that, reach out for sure. You know, we might not be able to people to help you in all situations, but we can send you to the right people that can.
Yep.
So, and then I also want people to think about going out and liking our show. Like us on Triumph or at Triumph KC. Wait, Jeff Miner, Triumph KC, and then Triumph Performance Institute on, I don't know all those, but just go to one of those and click on it and like us. Quit it, Damien.
Definitely follow the YouTube videos to see each series that you might have missed.
Definitely.
Yes. And once again, Tony, I want to thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thanks, my man. For sure.
Thank you for having me.
You rock it. If there's anything that we can do to support you in your business, you want to sell on our website, dude, we want to help you be successful because we love your passion.
Vice versa. I appreciate that a lot. I think the world needs more of that, supporting each other and helping each other grow.
Absolutely.
You're on a great mission, dude, to affect a lot of people, and that really makes us smile here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Go. That's what I want to do, honestly.
With the right heart and right attitude as well.
You bet. Well, we'll see everybody next week on The GOAT.
Have a good one.